Okay, let's talk about clothes. Your clothes. The ones you're wearing right now, and the ones you will be wearing in the future. Do you know if you'll be looking for an oversized padded jacket over the next 12 months? How about your desperate search for the perfect yellow dress in the next 2 years? Or your need for an all-black sneaker 5 years from now? Who knows, right? Well, they know. Trend forecasters. By doing vigorous research and examining mountains of curated data, and with a whole lot of pixie dust, trend forecasters understand what we want even before we know we want it. So, what is trend forecasting really? I was actually fascinated to find out that the concept of trend forecasting was originally born in the 1930s in a farming area in Iowa. A group of researchers were studying how innovation spread across two separate agricultural communities. The first farmers to use the new methods were the smallest group, but compared to others, they were highly educated and they owned the bigger lands. Their methods eventually spread across the area to the early adopters and then to the rest of the community. These researchers were in fact the first ones to successfully trace the link between finding the best possible future practice in a particular field and offering it to the rest of the world now. Well, at first glance, this does sound like a very effective tool to use on all kinds of contexts, from agriculture to construction to food, and of course, to fashion. Well, I am a fashion buyer by profession, and I have to tell you, trend forecasting in fashion is absolutely bull. Bear with me. You know what? Let's not even call it trend forecasting, because trend creation is what it really is. Look, data is awesome. Research, love it. Information is a great friend to have by your side in any business. I mean, who would want a warehouse full of the latest thing that no one bought, right? Well, we've had a lot of huge hits in fashion before it got this much infused with data-driven forecasts. And quite frankly, those hits carried a whole lot of misses as well. And eventually, businesses craved predictability. And the byproduct of that predictability in fashion is now, sadly, the death of individuality. And the birth of a parody. Now, check this out. In 2014, this whole trend creation business was put to test by an art firm's parody report. The parody was based on a deliberately plain trend, and the look was focused on a lack of characteristics. The parodies were so ingenious that they even built it into the name, normcore. The core of normal, which is quite the opposite of what you would expect from fashion, right? Well, the normcore look was established by unbranded sweatpants, jeans, simple tees, turtlenecks, white sport socks, and a sneaker. And style icons were picked up deliberately as non-fashionable people as well. I'm talking the likes of Steve Jobs, Jerry Seinfeld, even everyone's favorite dad figure, Homer Simpson. Well, soon after the release of this parody report, this plain, normcore look was picked up by almost every major agency and was introduced as the fresh new thing. And it worked. Normcore became an actual thing. On top of that, the term normcore was rewarded the second place in Oxford's Word of the Year. Look, this parody solidifies the proof behind the argument that these agencies, they're not forecasting anything. They're not pretending to see the future. They are the ones creating the future. Well, today, one trend creation agency can cost fashion brands upwards of tens of thousands of dollars in annual subscription fees. In return, they claim to be able to tell textiles, materials, and colors of the trends up to 2 years in advance. It means that what all of us are wearing today was forecasted years before we decided to buy. Fashion today is so reliant on these predictions that the true creativity, newness, and imagination that is supposed to be implemented by the designers themselves are becoming absolutely irrelevant. Now, do me a favor and think about your favorite dress from Armani that you bought last spring. That bluish-black Levi's denim jacket you love because it goes well with your suede Chelsea boots. They were not born by the creativity that the fashion industry was built upon. They came out of a calculated prediction that was engineered by an agency and was put on a piece of paper. Our favorite designers, they just followed suit. Better yet, what if I told you that more than 12,000 brands are getting their forecasts from the same agency. Well, as the marketing guru Faith Popcorn once said, there are no such things as predictions that are wrong. There are only predictions that haven't been right yet. So as long as the fashion industry accepts these predictions as facts, wouldn't it be obvious that what is written on that piece of paper is going to become the norm? Well, these trend creation agencies have now become for fashion what Bloomberg is essentially for investment banking. I mean, it's that much calculated. Well, when you talk pure numbers, this strategy should work. But fashion is an art form. It is about excitement, human interaction, touching our hearts and desires. It's about self-expression, a physical embodiment of what we portray ourselves as. When you think about the fashion world of the 50s, 60s, what do you see? You'd imagine a balcony in Paris, maybe, a lakeside in Italy, an apartment in London overlooking the Royal Opera House. Well, today, these trend watchers spend their days sifting through your Instagram posts. They're going over your blogs. They're following you around in the streets, in events, in concerts, in venues exactly like the one we're in right now, just to find the next big thing. And if an agency tells all those brands that a certain trend is going to be big, the brands will use all their efforts towards making it big. All right, it's time for a little confession. I get why we're doing this, and I am a part of it as well. Fashion buyers, like me, use these prediction reports to bulletproof our selection pitches to the upper managements. If the paper says orange pea coats, we pitch orange pea coats. The industry is now swinging on the spiral of self-assurance, and no one is asking if this is the right environment that will give birth to new ideas, new designs, new works of art, which will elevate the business, bring back the excitement, and eventually protect the future of individuality. But do not lose hope. The solution actually lives within the problem. Slowly but surely, we are experiencing the inevitable change. The brands that are solely reliant on these prediction reports are becoming dull and highly predictable. The young, reinventive, unpredictable, creative, innovative minds will conquer all others and deconstruct what is considered to be the norm. So we, all of us, as individuals, must stand behind the new, the bold, and the brave. The child, too young to understand the desirability of keeping up pretense, will cry out that the emperor isn't wearing an orange pea coat this season or the next. The emperor is actually wearing nothing at all. And the cry will hopefully be taken up by all of us. Thank you.